our way of life. We loved to hear from the ground people, and they knew it.
Anti-tank guns, artillery pieces, and even tanks were wiped out by this close coordination system. As the GIs moved forward, the signs of the fighter bombers' grisly effectiveness could be seen in the long, snake-like columns of burned and charred wreckage that cluttered the roads. Never in history had such tremendous damage been done by air power. In the end, it broke the back of the German army in Normandy. Through the fall of 1944, the Allied armies pushed the Wehrmacht back to the very ramparts of Germany. As usual, the tactical air forces were there to assist the ground pounders. The well-trained, disciplined Marauder crews were among the best in the world at such work. Flying in tight combat boxes, they could plant their bombs with incredible accuracy right in front of friendly troops. As the mediums became more involved in close support operations, the fighter bombers began sweeping into Germany, shooting up trains, trucks, tanks, vehicles, and airfields. Airfields tended to be the toughest targets. Loaded with flak, it took courage and disciplined teamwork to knock out a German airbase.
We were strafing an airdrome, and I don't know what it was, went right through the back of my plane, right about a yard behind my head, left about a 4-inch hole, but they had to set those things for certain distance. And this one didn't explode when it hit me. It went through and then exploded beyond me. Left about two 4-inch holes in the plane, right behind me. It had been a little yard forward to blow my head off. We were going across an airdrome, and you got to be careful going across the airdromes. You got to be in formation. Don't lag behind, or you'll get shot down.
With the onset of winter in late 1944, the fighter bombers were forced to stay on the ground. Low-lying fog, driving snowstorms, and blizzards gave the Germans a respite from the incessant air attacks they had faced since the spring of 1944. And they took advantage of it. On December 16, 1944, the Germans launched their last major offensive against the Western Allies. Codenamed Autumn Wind, the attack struck in the Ardennes forest, a weak point in the American lines. Initially, the offensive, which became known as the Battle of the Bulge, drove the Americans back. With bad weather protecting them from air attack, the Panzers drove on through Belgium, hoping to cross the Meuse River and capture Antwerp.
During the Battle of the Bulge, we had a bunch of bad weather where we couldn't see anything on the ground and nobody got to do anything. We had one clear afternoon, and the Bulge was up in Belgium, and we killed all the tank flying right in that spot with, I think, 2 flights. And they couldn't get through the tanks there, and finally they split and went out in a Y. Well, this is wonderful because once they were split, they were only half force. They were much easier to handle, and we got them turned down in a hurry.
The results were, for the Germans, horrific. Carefully hoarded vehicles, supplies, infantry battalions, and artillery guns were caught in the open and smashed to ruin. Under constant assault from the air and from 3 sides on the ground, Germany utterly collapsed. By early April, few worthwhile targets remained, and the Allied air forces gradually stood down. No one has ever doubted the success of tactical air forces. Tactical aviation helped devastate the Wehrmacht, saving thousands of GIs with their effective support. Such close cooperation blasted open the door to the Third Reich in the West. No wonder that the GIs grew to love their aerial escorts.
General Eisenhower, in his autobiography stated that the 9th Air Force activity and accuracy shortened the war by months.
We knew the job we were doing, and we knew the Army loved us because we were taking care of them in such a fantastic manner. We were doing a job and we got it done.
Yet after the war, the tactical aviators were all but lost to history. Whether historians take note or not, one thing is clear. The graying soldiers of Eisenhower's armies will never forget the support they received from the loyal and dedicated men of the tactical air forces.